The ego destroys us. It not only gets in the way of our relationship with other people, it gets in the way of our understanding of ourselves. We like to have the ego bias. We like to examine ourselves through this filter of gleaming golden light, that we are better than those around us, that we are better than others view us as, assuming that others view us as being worse than anybody truly is. And we like to view ourselves as being more competent and headed in the right direction than we usually are. Now, this isn't to tear down the person that you are, but it's easier to view ourselves from a positive light, so we tend to do it. As human beings, we like to take the easier path if we don't focus on taking the correct path. The subconscious will naturally flow us along the path of least resistance, and we must combat this. We must combat the ego's subconscious nature of allowing us to believe that we're better, that we're going along the right path, and this path is easy, thus it is the right one. But in truth, the right path is difficult. The right path, as far as examining ourselves, is probably one of the most difficult paths that we'll encounter. Now, when we examine ourselves, we tend to have this filter, like I said, but when we examine others, we view them as less than they are. We view them as being lesser than us most of the time, because it is easier to see our own bright light if everyone else is a little bit darker. Now, these are subtle variations of perception. These aren't always extreme, as I'm using in this analogy. However, the ego also destroys our communication with other people. When we try to communicate with other people, we tend to, care more about what we're going to say than what they're going to say or what they have said. We tend to want to comment more about our idea of the situation or our understanding of, the topic we're talking about than their understanding or their situation. If somebody is talking about, for instance, their girlfriend, and they're saying, "Oh, we just can't connect anymore. It's really hard for us to communicate. She just doesn't seem to open up to me anymore," and I in the opposite corner, assuming I had a girlfriend, which I don't right now. It's been a little while since I had a relationship. But if I had a girlfriend, I'd say, yeah, man, sometimes it's really hard to connect to my girlfriend, too. It's like she just closes off sometimes when I really want to connect. And this is not a real situation. And a lot of women would say, okay, it would be reversed. It'd be like you two are the girls trying to say that you wish your boyfriends were more open, which is a valid point a lot of the time. But at any rate, then I say, okay, yeah, man, it's like I just can't get through to her when she's like this, and she seems to be like this more and more, to where she closes off to me, and I tend to, and everyone else tends to, comment on their situation when somebody relates their story, their predicament to us, and I think that this is an act of ego. We should be more concerned with the resolution of somebody else's situation, what's going on in their life, if they started the conversation. If the conversation was geared more towards their situation, we should allow our situation to kind of fall back and say, okay, I have this experience with that situation, but I also have this experience with how this worked or how this didn't work. Try to help them through their situation. Our ego likes to basically shift the focus of the conversation to us, shift the focus to what we want to talk about and how the same circumstance happened to us, but basically between different people, between us and the person that we're with. Now, ego doesn't just stop at relationships. It allows us to live an entire life with the assumption that we are, and this is going to seem harsh, fulfilled. We like to think that because we've experienced from this platform, from this body, everything that we've experienced, that the life that we have lived has been fulfilled. But that doesn't really do us any good if it hasn't been at the end. What I'm trying to get at is that we should plan ahead. We should imagine life as being something that we should always do what we not necessarily enjoy, but what we feel most fulfilled through. If I always wanted to be an artist, like I always have wanted to be, but more video arts because of YouTube and things like this, then I should direct my life right now at the age of 26 and in college towards basically video arts. However, if I had chosen instead a more realistic career that would make more money and get an MBA, work towards an MBA, a Master's in Business Management, and possibly work my way into a system of corporate management, a system of corporate office, then I would be more likely to have a more realistic career. If I was going to work my way into the corporate system of management, then I have more of a realistic and secure career, because that is always necessary. That is always in demand. However, being an artist or a visual artist or somebody who's interested in video arts, that is much less realistic, because it's not as in demand as business always is, because business is more of a bland term, more of a term that can encompass a wide range of occupations. So that would be more realistic as far as making money for myself, having a high income, and being able to live. But if I'm not really interested in business, if I'm not really geared towards that, that side of existence, then why would I pursue it? Okay, yeah, I could make more money. I could be more of a self-reliant person and basically secure my existence for as long as my life lasts. But what is the real point of life? Is it just to make money and have a secure job, and then basically retire when you want with all the benefits that you need? Or is it to live a life that you're pursuing a goal? A goal that is specific to your life, specific to the fulfillment that you want to participate in. And it's always participation, because nobody is responsible for their own life. It's always a group effort to make a life whole. Whether it be family, friends, different ideas from different sources, different little encounters in the world outside. It takes a village to make a life, not just a child, but to make a life. So, to examine life along these bounds, to see that life should be about fulfillment and not about just making money and then existing and then dying, we have to look at life completely differently. We have to realize that the ego wants us to gain material things, but our soul wants us to be fulfilled. And this is just my interpretation of existence. This doesn't have to be yours. This is just my interpretation. And I accept that. But at any rate, when we decide to live a fulfilled life, assuming that we do, and it isn't just about money or to have a secure job, then we have to toss aside the idea of ego, because if we hold on to ego, it will hinder fulfillment. You cannot live a fulfilled life with a large ego. Well, you can live the illusion of a fulfilled life, but that doesn't mean that it's actually a fulfilled life. The ego takes away the spiritual gain within a life. It focuses on material. It focuses on, what can I gain from this person, from that person? What can I gain through this process of education that I'm on? And which high-ranking job can I get in order to place myself above others? It's always about these very material and very time-sensitive goals within a human life that the ego focuses on. Material, money, rank, the ability to gain as many sexual lovers as possible, to get the finest wife, to have people look at one as if one is greater than they are, or maybe if we believe that we are because we have a great ego, a big ego, then we want people to recognize that we are as great as we are. And this is what the ego tinges life through. It's the filter that life is viewed through if we allow our ego to make that filter, that very thick and vast filter. Then we become more focused on what can be gained in this life for ourselves, and not what can be gained for everyone. What can be gained for everyone is what destroys ego. If we focus more on what we can do for other people and ourselves, then ego will slowly start to unravel, and we'll start to see that all these material things that ego wants are fruitless. They don't make any sense, they don't matter, and ultimately, they don't even make us happy. They just make us more attached. So this is what ego is. This is how the ego destroys us. I hope this rant has been interesting, and it has indeed been a rant. If you like this video at all, hit that thumbs up down there. It really helps out the channel. If you want to comment about what you think about the ego, or you think I'm completely wrong, or maybe it isn't even about ego, life itself, feel free to shoot it down in the comment section below. I will try to get your comments as much as possible. There's been quite a few on my channel recently as the channel grows, but I'll try to get to them. So, hey, thank you very much for watching, and y'all have a great day.